right, what's going on, everybody? The Arid Lord is here. Welcome back to another Walking Dead review vlog for the bonus episodes. This is for, I guess, technically episode 20, even though it is the halfway point of the bonus episodes. This one is entitled Splinter, and it is, the description reads, Eugene Ezekiel. Yumiko and Princess are captured and separated by the mysterious troopers that surrounded them at the rail yard. Claustrophobic with mounting anxiety, Princess struggles with memories of her traumatic past and plans to escape. So, I will admit, I saw some questionable reviews for this episode prior because of all the people that have AMC Plus and saw the episode early. I saw some people saying some not so nice things about it, some negative reviews, and having watched it in normal time at good old 9 p.m. Eastern Standard on AMC, I have mixed opinions about it. I can understand people who subscribe to a certain type of episode from The Walking Dead who may not like this episode, and I can understand that. I was hoping that the title Splinter would be a complex allegory for something within the episode. I guess technically it is in dealing with, I guess you could say the Splinter is both a physical entity in the sense that Princess gets a splinter as she's picking apart this wooden train car that she's thrown in. And then also, I guess in the metaphorical sense, like it's the pain of her past that she's trying to get out that she can't. So this episode is mainly, not mainly, it is from Princess's perspective. It's basically a Princess episode. And the other characters are in it, but... And this is a big spoiler for the episode, which is kind of the twist and the main meat of it when you figure it out, is that Princess is hallucinating a lot of the stuff that's going on in this episode. So she briefly breaks out and has a conversation with Eugene. That never happens. Ezekiel hops inside the rail car and has a very different personality. A Commonwealth soldier ends up coming inside the train car, and I guess this is probably like the best part of the episode, in my opinion, when this Commonwealth soldier comes in to bring food, and they start asking, because the original event that kind of springboarded all of this is that in the intro, after they get captured, Yumiko tries to run away or something, and she gets smashed in the face and kind of gets concussed. And so Princess is all worried about that, and that's part of the reason she gets the Splinter, trying to talk to Yumiko in the neighboring train car. Although we find out that never happened. She wasn't there. Neither was Eugene when Princess briefly gets out and speaks to Eugene. And then the same can be said of Ezekiel, who jumps into Princess's train car, assaults the officer who brought the food, starts beating up the officer, and Princess is trying to stop Ezekiel, and then you realize as all these flashes are happening that, Princess is actually the one doing this. And there's a couple of jarring quick scenes, flashes, where she keeps flashing to the night they got captured. We hear her backstory, which I don't know how much of this was revealed in the comics, but she talks about living and growing up in an abusive household, where she was hit. After her conversation with the Commonwealth officer, when she gets hit, she makes a reference to it kind of being similar to something that happened to her before, and so I can imagine an abusive stepfather, as she mentions, kind of bringing that kind of suffering upon her. So I think the thing about it is, I understand the necessity of the episode. Princess, we've only known her a few episodes, if you think about it. She came in, technically should have been the second to last episode of the main season 10, 16 episode season 10. She was only in the final 2 episodes of season 10, and now she's in one bonus episode, and I don't imagine she's going to return for the last two because we have like a Daryl and Carol focused episode to wrap up their whole fight from the last time. And then obviously here's Negan, which is going to be completely focused on Negan and Lucille and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, she's fairly new, and going into this final season with the Commonwealth, I think they probably were like, listen, like, we really want to make sure our audience feels something for a character that's going to be pertinent to the whole Commonwealth storyline, especially considering she's one of the, like, besides Eugene, Yumiko, and Ezekiel, she's like one of the few characters to first encounter the Commonwealth soldiers. Like, this is a big deal. She's meeting these people before any of our main characters, Daryl, Carol, anyone from Alexandria. Now we can include Maggie in that. So this is kind of this is a big deal. So I understand why they wanted to flesh out her character, to give her this time. And, like, this is the nature of these episodes. Like, they were kind of pitched as bottle episodes. Each one deals with a certain character, and I guess Daryl and Carol kind of get multiple because they're, Daryl's, for all intents and purposes, is the main character, and Carol is a close second. They have been on the show since the very first season, so I would expect them to get that kind of spotlight. But then the other characters, like Maggie especially, I mean, she returns to the show, and she was only in that very first episode and has not been in any of them since. Like, maybe she's going to be in the Here's Negan one because, maybe she does something to Negan. Maybe they replay their scene from the comics that kind of goes in tandem with, Negan leaving. That's, again, a discussion for a later day. But, yeah, I mean, these were pitched as bottle episodes, and I don't know what other direction people were hoping for. Like, I didn't think they were going to go deep into the Commonwealth stuff. I felt they were going to tease it, but they weren't going to go deep into it. And one of the main reasons is because they have an 11th season that is apparently airing this summer, which is a complete, like, I did not realize that was the case. In between, they keep showing, like, these, like, teasers. I'm not sure if you guys have seen these. I might make a separate vlog about this. These, during the commercial breaks, at least on AMC's TV channel, there are these like grainy, hazy, like crimson lens video clips of stuff from the Commonwealth. Like, some of it's fun, like, cake and ice cream, like novelty items that you would expect in like a society that the Commonwealth has. There was a really weird one about, like, like forgiveness and something like kind of written in blood in like a train station or something. So there's all these clues and hints. I'm wondering if they're going to maybe, when all the bonus episodes are complete, maybe we'll get like a complete trailer. Like, maybe this is building towards something. Kind of like, if you guys remember a few years ago, there was that Flight 476 or whatever, like when the apocalypse is happening and there's like zombies on the plane, and then like the whole thing was that freaking Nick from Fear the Walking Dead sees the plane fly over Los Angeles, and it was a really dumb reveal, but I mean, whatever. So I guess it's kind of similar to that. So but yeah, so I mean, again, we get to go back to the episode. We learn about Princess. All of the interactions she has, I guess, except, and I saw this on Talking Dead, the interactions that she has with the Commonwealth soldiers are real. So the interview that she has where she's just really not saying much, that's real. And then when she punches the guy, takes his rifle, and kind of is threatening him, beating him up, that's real too. I will say one jarring... So there's a couple of interesting things about this episode. The first is, this is the only episode where no one dies. No walkers and no humans die in this episode. And then they have that in memoriam thing on Talking Dead, and they were like, yeah, there were no casualties because it was all focused on the PTSD princess stuff. So, I was like, damn. Not only that, there's a very interesting scene when Princess escapes and she goes to the gate of this rail yard, and like Ezekiel is like standing next to two walkers, and because it's a hallucination, the walkers aren't, eating Ezekiel or trying to bite him. It was just such a jarring scene to see like these walkers just so casually standing there. And I guess the walkers were there, but Ezekiel wasn't. Again, it was kind of, once there was that revelation of what she was seeing and what she wasn't, it was kind of difficult to kind of like discern between. And then I had to go back. Obviously, the writer who was on the show clarified that the Commonwealth interactions were real and the other ones weren't. I guess up until the very end, when the guy opens the train car and they have the bags on their heads. So, yeah. Again, like, I didn't expect them to go too deep in this episode. Maybe that's what people wanted. I'm not sure. Like, is that why people were angry with this episode? They wanted, some solid information on the Commonwealth after that cliffhanger that we had last October, and all we got was a princess-focused episode. I mean, I will admit, like, it was a little slow. Like, it was just in one location, which was Princess's train car. It moves a few times to outside the train car, to the shower interrogation room where that there's only two soldiers we really meet. There's that, the guy that gets punched, who kind of, lets... I mean, he's got that freaking giant helmet. I don't understand how Princess had that. I mean, she must have thrown quite a punch to knock him out while he had the freaking helmet on. But and then we get whoever the boss, whoever the corporal or lieutenant is of this division. And in the comic book, there's a guy, Lance, that does the interviewing around this time. But I don't know if they're going to save Lance for when they actually get to the Commonwealth itself. Like, I'm not too sure, like, how they'll handle it. I mean, that's obviously something I'm very excited for, to see the Commonwealth in its full, But again, like, there's a bit of racing against the clock because they don't have, like, I mean, I guess they have the extended 24 episodes, so I just hope they don't rush the Commonwealth. I felt like the Whisperers were well paced. Obviously, some people thought that the Saviors dragged out a little bit, although I liked that very long build up to Negan and then, the being subjugated and then the war. Like, I felt like the phases were good. Could have been a little tighter with all the jumping around, but I've mentioned that in previous vlogs. But I just hope they do the Commonwealth right. It's the final major group that Kirkman wrote about in his comics that gets the spotlight, and I just hope that, they get a fair kind of they get the fair shake that the Whispers and the Saviors did, and the Governor and the other groups, the other major villain groups of the show. So, but yeah, like, I don't know. What would I objectively give the episode? Maybe a 7.5. I mean, it wasn't a horrible episode. Like, Paola Lazaro is the actress who plays Princess, is very talented. Like, I could understand if this was an actor or actress that was kind of B-list, like, sloppy, uninteresting, but she wasn't. Like, I like, and I feel like it was almost a timely episode being during COVID, because, that whole isolation, trapped, four walls and a roof kind of, going crazy. I feel like a lot of us are feeling that these days, right? I know, like, vaccines are out, people are getting them, and we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point, but, I don't know. I just felt like, it was a more timely episode than maybe, in the past couple of years, and, obviously couple that with the past that she reveals about how abusive her family was, and I don't know. I feel like it wasn't... I went into this episode being like, all right, maybe I'm going to hate it because so many people were preparing me to hate it, and then I didn't hate it as much as I thought, and I actually was kind of indifferent to it. Like, there were some things I liked, and, it wasn't... There were certainly other episodes of The Walking Dead that were worse than this one. I am just going to say it, And again, like, you have to understand that this, like, the nature of it, that it's a bottle episode. That's how it was pitched. These were bonus episodes, additions to season 10 to cleanse the palate, because they didn't want to just throw us into season 11. And honestly, I don't know where they would have put all this extra character development, like all the events that have happened thus far. I mean, maybe there's some stuff you could have cut out, like the whole Gabriel Aaron thing from last episode. That's not really pertinent to the plot, but It's to give us more content. They're filming it during COVID, which is a big ask, and I gotta give them credit. So that's how I feel. That's my rating, and it wasn't the worst episode in the world. It kind of almost got me a little excited just because there's still that there's that opaque shroud that's still surrounding the Commonwealth. And I don't know how they're going to handle them. Like, are they going to be a villain group? Are they going to be a good group? Because I know how the comic handles it, but things were being done very differently. You had Rick involved, and I really don't know how they're going to do this, if it's going to merge into the CRM, because now you got the Commonwealth and the CRM, which are two, their armors are almost opposite, white and red, and then all black. So there's been lots of theories about the Rick movies merging with the whole Commonwealth plot. I thought that was the direction they're going to go. I just don't know if it's all going to align. And again, that's a conversation we have to have for another day, because there's obviously the monkey wrench of COVID and other stuff going on. But we'll have to see. I'm not sure. But again, solid episode from a good actress, good content. Again, like it wasn't it wasn't the worst episode on the planet. And that is what I'm going to take to the bank. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you don't get a splinter yourself, and I will see you later for more content. Peace out.